interrogation that also happens later on, and as well as the first tale of like the first loss, like this lost club as well. So what do you think was the importance in sort of exploring more of Native American culture and just bring that into like the supernatural world of myths?
Well, you want to say something?
No, I was going to say this. I mean, the idea that this is an interdimensional being that arrives a long, long time ago, you know, before there was anyone, and the first inhabitants of the land are the native people. Hence, they know him more than anybody else.
Or is it her?
What?
It's her.
It's her.
Well, that's what it is. For people who read the book, it's a she. It's a she.
Maybe. We don't know.
Ben Hangscom,
no one is sure.
He sees the eggs and he runs and says, "It's a she." It's a big reveal. Anyway, sorry.
So, you know, they have this absolute knowledge that then they try to share with the immigrants, let's call them, and they don't want to listen because they never do. And they keep trying to keep people safe, and they're not listening to them.
We created a new story. You know, for us, it was like what's in the book was an inspiration because the indigenous community there. It plays an important role, but we wanted to create I was saying before, the blueprint of these enigmas really inspired us to tell a new story, and it's a story that is told backwards, and it's a hidden story, and I wanted to do to put the indigenous people in the center of it, and play a role that was like not like the role that they play in the book, even though it's like it's aligned, but it's a little more specific. And you saw it because you saw the first 5 episodes, so we can talk about the cage. The cage is something that didn't exist in the book. The idea that it is an expanding force, it's not in the book. That was something that we created, but only is inspired by the book. And the idea that this expanding force was cut short by the First Nation and the community of indigenous that say we gotta stop this guy from expanding, and they created the cage, and the cage is a secret, and they are the keepers of the cage, and that for us was we thought it was a great idea, and we really used it for our drama. Yeah.
I was wondering if you guys could talk a little bit about how the television format, what that allowed you to do with it that you couldn't do in the feature film format.
Mainly, for emotional purposes, like spending. It's very simple. Spending more time with your characters allows you to develop a closer emotional entanglement with the characters, and hence create like a magnified dramatic experience. I think that's why we love series so much. I mean, we love movies and we are movie people because we grew up watching movies in the time where we were kids and growing up. TV wasn't as good as it is now, but over the few last years we saw like fantastic television. And because more money was put into it, more resources, and there's a few TV shows that look like movies, because
we think ours definitely does.
We don't know how to make TV, so for us it was like, okay, you have Game of Thrones, you have like I don't know. There's a lot of examples. For me, it's always Game of Thrones, but it's like you can make TV like it's a movie. So we said, why not? And also because, again, like this deserved. I don't know if we could have made this into a movie, given that the first idea was, let's go to the origin of Pennywise. But then, but there's a lot of things in the book that has to be covered. What about the interludes? How does the interludes connect to it and the origin of it. And if we're telling a story that goes backwards, and there's a reason for that, then there's a lot of elements, and in 2 hours you can't do any of that, and that's the reason why it was a good idea to make it into TV.
Yeah, but it's a crazy process. It is a crazy process to start without all the scripts, and it doesn't matter if they tell you that, you know, when you're going to greenlight you're gonna have, you know, when during prep you're gonna have all your scripts, because it's bullshit. You know, the scripts, you know, are in constant, at least in our process, are in constant evolution, and you know, in our case, we got interrupted by 2 strikes that, you know, we support, but it was, you know, it was a complicated experience. And I think we managed to do what we did because of persistence, perseverance, and because of money. Because the way we shoot, what you see on the screen, the 10 first minutes, you know, it's very expensive. It's very expensive in time. It does not fit in a television schedule. We shot, those 10 minutes took days and days of different units of, you know, special effects. So good things cost money. And you need the support of a studio, and we were incredibly blessed to have HBO just giving us that.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you. I was actually going to talk about the opening. So you're talking about the first 10 minutes. Like, incredible, first of all 5 episodes.
Thank you.
But to start off like that, was that always your plan? Like, you got to start off with something that is just subtle and then gets terrifying.
Shock, like, but also that, you know, descent into dread. It's very, it reflects a little bit of the sense of humor of our monster. That it's like this, horrific, but you know, the idea that you're slowly boiled into this thing that you can't get out of, it was very attractive to me. There is no, I'm not gonna go into that, but into like influences and stuff, but yeah, there's always like a twisted sense of humor about how it gets you, and also because it's a creature that really wants to season the flesh. You know, that's how it's described in the book, season the flesh. I think there's something about like slowly like getting you like tense and get your adrenaline out that is more tasty to him. Also, he's an eater of faith, like it's described once in the book. He's not an eater of flesh, he's an eater of faith. And I think the release of, you know, the flame, the turning off of that flame of faith for him is even more tasty. And I think that, like, for once, it's like he does that to the victim, but also to an audience. It's very stimulating in a bad way, where you're just like, oh, no. Well, there's still faith, you know, there's still hope to get out of there. And he tries to open the door doesn't open, the gas station is not good, oh shit. And it goes worse and worse and worse and worse, and there's like, it's just like, I think it, like successfully anxiety driven opening, and I don't know. I think it will be fun in a not the best way. Yeah. But what was the other question?
That was just it, really, just about how, you know, is that always the plan to start with something you have to with some series like this?
Yeah, but also like the shock effect, you know, that kick in the chin, where like you understand from the beginning that no one is safe here. Even like a 12-year-old kid whose life is terrible. He's trying to get out of Derry because he has abuse at home. You can see it on his eye. It's all visual. There's no words. There's a 12-year-old kid in the middle of the night in a movie theater by himself, sucking on a pacifier. That tells the whole story, you know. And it's stimulating for the audience. That's what I like to do, you know, stimulate the audience instead of like feeding them all the information. Just put the pieces together. Yeah.
It was definitely like, oh no, oh no, oh no,
Oh no.
oh.
It gets worse and worse.
It was like,
Now, will Maddie come back? I don't know. Do you see him dying? Do you see him dying? You see the pacifier flying away. You know, the baby, mutant baby, chomped on the back of his face. Maybe he comes back. I don't know. I guess you have to see
No one
episode.
who dies in Derry
Ever really dies.
dies.
You have to see episode 6.
Girl. Yeah, so I'm David. I'm here for Remar. I actually want to say I
Remar.
binge watched it.
Oh.
I was like, I'm gonna watch one episode. No, 5 episodes in, and I'm just like,
Binge.
I can't wait.
Binge
I can't
Joe.
wait. It was so good. But I guess like my main question is there anything in particular, a specific scene or something, a character that you would want to do, but you didn't get to do? Like something like, oh, I wish I would have made this character do this one thing and I couldn't go back to that or revisit this one scene that I wanted to be done differently.
Yes, I think that probably. I mean, I'm very happy with the show, but in general, there's you have to make decisions about, you know, because unlike many shows where they put fluff in it, you know, where it's like, okay, when is something going to happen? There are those shows. I'm not gonna say what, but I'm sure you saw those shows where it's like an entire episode of like, why the hell did I see this? Oh, something happens in the end. Okay, this what we have more than we needed. We had more than we could fit. So unfortunately, we had, even in the writing stage, you know, there was a whole thread about subplot about Paul Bunyan and you know, the statue,
Oh, yeah.
and a reporter that came to town to cover the Paul Bunyan thing, and she immediately, because she's a stranger, she immediately notices all this shit that is going on. And she identifies the fog in town, and it's like, what the fuck? People are like complaining about a statue that they don't like when actually there's like 15 kids that disappeared. So she first raises the alarm, and over the course of and that's what's tragic about it. Over the course of the show, she slowly goes into the fog, and she ends up being like a very like complacent member of Derry,
And the mother of Ben
and the mother
Hanscom.
of the mother of it's Sonia Kasprak. It was the mother of Eddie.
Eddie.
We didn't, but it was a no. You know, she was
She's a bit of a tragic character, if you remember, you know, just on her couch.
So she was a very young, you know, reporter with full of energy, and she ends up being just complacent member of Derry Fog Society.
Which is
And
a
she was
super,
visited-
you know, which is an incredibly strong theme in the book and in
The forgetfulness
show,
and everything. So that was one, and especially, and she was visited by this incarnation of it that didn't want to kill her. It was an incarnation of it that was just basically sucking her, like dragging her into forgetfulness. And it was a tiny version of Paul Bunyan's blue ox. I don't know if you know the ox.
Yeah.
So it was a very weird, like surreal, like presence that was there all the time, and she was like looking around the corners, and this thing would appear, and it was a tiny ox that would smile to her, and she had the face of Bill Skarsgård. The ox had the face of Bill Skarsgård. Very weird. One of those things that we didn't do. And then probably the character of Polly, which is great. Polly is Rudy Mancuso. Rudy's
I grew
great.
up on his like Vine TikTok videos.
Oh, you
I was
did?
Like, yeah, every video I was like, yes.
He's amazing, and I think that now in hindsight, I think we could have, like, you know, put some more weight to that character. But yes,
That's why I brought that up. I'm like, I wanted more of that.
and more. Well, spin-off maybe. Who knows? So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Anthony, with the movie blog. This show, first off, thank you for being my favorite emotional terrorist. But this show, it dives into uncharted territory within the Stephen King universe, and you're actually tying things together that we haven't seen tied into Derry before. Can you talk to me a little bit about that process, that experience? Did you guys have to call Stephen? Like, what was it like to bring Halloran in here and just have his character expanded on?
Yeah, I think Dick is in the book.
Yeah.
So he's mentioned in the interludes, but he's not like a big player. Actually, his participation is very important because he saves people from the burning of the black spot. But he's not set up as a character. He's not set up. He's not. You don't know what Dick is really doing there because he's not one of the main players. He wasn't even like a very good friend of Leroy. Oh, sorry, Will Hanlon, which is actually Mike's father in the book. But he's mentioned as a character, and of course for us it was like, of course we have to put the Halloran as a main player on this. But we need to understand what he's doing there in the first place, right? Why is he in Derry, Maine in 1962? And then we tied all the things with okay, so he was brought here because he has the shine. So he was restationed because someone in the top dog of the airbase said, okay, this guy has some mental powers. We need him to help us find the thing. So that's how it starts. So Dick is restationed there, and then Leroy is restationed there because, okay, this is a guy without fear. This guy doesn't have fear, and this guy can read into people's minds. It's a perfect combination. But to your bigger question, which was how do we interweave these things? I think it was a work of imagination, fully inspired by the book and Stephen King.
Yeah, and I think it was very important for us to establish the bloodlines and the generations, and we see the end of Pennywise in 2017. We already seen those characters in '89, and going back, what made our characters the way they were, and it's also fascinating to see how they change. So Leroy, we see him in the show as this just guy that believes in the system and is optimistic in his power and his strength, and I can change the world. But then when we see him,
well, he doesn't want to change.
What?
Charlotte wants to change the world.
Well, no, but he's going to change the world with his with being a straight arrow, basically. Yeah. And then we see him in 2017 killing sheep and telling his grandchild that you're either a victim or a killer. Completely disillusioned. So what happened? What happened? It's fascinating, and getting to trace back. There must be somebody really famous over there. Getting to trace back those stories and and basically inform about generational trauma, which is so clear in the book before the term generational trauma was created. So
but also because you asked about Stephen King, and I think he was when we presented the idea of creating a story that is a hidden story that not only ties the events that are enigmatic in the book, but also they go towards a new resolution. That it's something that we don't expect from the book because it's found somewhere else, and I think we're. It doesn't matter that it dies at the end because nothing looks nothing in Derry actually is what
Really
it
ever
seems.
dies.
It's what it seems. So, there might be something in the past that makes you like recalibrate the idea that Pennywise died in 2016. Mystery. That's on the long arc of the series. But at the end of season 1, you will get a hint of where we're going with the backwards. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so ready.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.